In the headlines, 3 killed, many abducted as terrorists attack Taraba Mosque during Iftar. PDP Reconciliation and Strategy Committee recommends slashing costs of nomination forms. Cheering news for job seekers as President Buhari signs Executive Order 11. And on the foreign scene, former Burkina Faso President Blaise Compaoré sentenced to life for murder of Sankara. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in full. A group of terrorists on Tuesday attacked a mosque at Babajuli village in Bali local government area of Taraba State while worshippers were breaking their fast, killing 3 persons. The terrorists also abducted many worshippers from inside the mosque and took them to an unknown location. The incident, it was gathered, occurred at about 6:25 p.m. Reports say the terrorists, numbering over 50, invaded the village and attacked the Jumaat mosque. The worshippers had assembled in the mosque to break their fast when they were attacked by the terrorists. Police spokesperson for Taraba Command, DSP Usman Abdullahi, who confirmed the incident, said he was waiting for more details from the police divisional office in Bali. The federal government on Wednesday said the terrorists who attacked a military base in Birnugwari area of Kaduna State suffered heavy casualties when they were repelled. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed said this while reacting to a question on insecurity after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the council chambers of the presidential villa in Abuja. Mohammed, who said the government is not overwhelmed by insecurity across the country, contrary to public perception, stressed that not every success of the military in its war against terrorism was in the media space.
It was an attack on a military base in Kaduna State, but what was not reported was the very timely and efficient manner it was repelled, and the huge casualties suffered by the bandits terrorists. I think yesterday a particular television station actually reported this. I also have a video of the area interdiction by the military. You see, I keep saying this is an asymmetrical war in which we are not at liberty always to tell you how, in details, how the camps of the bandits and terrorists are being decimated daily. It's a war of attrition. But our military is living up to the billing.
And mild skirmish on Tuesday occurred between soldiers of the 32 Artillery Brigade, Akure, and the operatives of the Ondo State Security Network known as Amotekun Corps over the latest seizure of 100 cows in Akure. They reportedly seized the cows for breaching the anti-open grazing laws of the state. The Amotekun operatives reportedly held the cows after acting on distress calls from farmers who called them from the Okearo area of Akure complaining that the cows had grazed and destroyed their crops. While officers of the Corps were on hand to enforce the law, soldiers from the Artillery Brigade stormed the area to prevent them from taking the cows away. The soldiers reportedly made claims that the cows arrested belonged to their officers in the barracks. Meanwhile, suspected bandits have attacked Barakallahu community in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. According to some of the residents who spoke to Trust TV, the bandits stormed the community in large numbers around 1 a.m., shooting sporadically. Police Public Relations Officer ASP Jalige Mohammed said the police, after receiving a distress call, moved to the scene, engaged the bandits in a gun battle for more than 2 hours and succeeded in chasing them away from the community with no casualty. The bandits were suspected to be in the community to rustle cows. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, says the challenge in the war against terrorism is a morale booster for the military to defeat the enemy. The Army Chief, in an operational tour of the 402 Special Task Force Brigade camp in Maiduguri, told the troops that it will recognize hard-working soldiers, urging them not to relent in the fight against insurgents. He appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for his support and assured of providing logistics and equipment to ease their assignments of protecting the country.
And the better for it, if only if that development can come. But those who choose to remain in the bushes will give them the special forces treatment, will destroy them and bring back all those things that they have kept in their enclaves. On our part, we will continue to provide all the necessary requirements for the task ahead and for the task at hand, in tandem with Army tradition. We will always appreciate and recognize those who have done well and who have done it especially or specially well will also be more specially recognized. I urge us not to relent. I know we will not, but continue with what we have started, and we'll get there. Challenges that you have sometimes is part of operations. All operations have that. But for us, what it does is to ginger us to do even more and to go directly to do that challenge authority of the Federal Republic.
Now to politics, where the National Reconciliation and Strategy Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, on Wednesday in Abuja, submitted its report to the National Working Committee of the party. The report has recommendations that could strengthen the party ahead of the next elections. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
Submitting the report to the national chairman on behalf of the committee, which was set up in November last year to examine and resolve disputes across all levels of the party, Chairman of the committee, Senator Bukola Saraki, says the report contains detail of grievances that were mostly generated from the interface with various stakeholders across the 6 geopolitical zones. As part of strategies to reposition the party, the committee recommends slashing the cost of nomination forms to encourage youth participation, ensure thorough scrutiny of party officials who will be saddled with the responsibility of conducting primary elections across board in order to avoid internal disputes as observed in the past.
We have discovered that the conduct of primaries to elect candidates to represent the party has been a source of great intra-party conflict and friction in the past, resulting in PDP being severely weakened and hampering its chances of success in previous elections. Mr. Chairman, we believe that you and other members of NWC are men and women of great courage and integrity who have displayed a commitment to our party, its ideals and its values. We want to advise that the party leadership should at all times adhere to the principles of equity and justice, good conscientiousness and inclusiveness.
Receiving the report, National Chairman of the PDP, Senator Yachia Ayu, says the party leadership is proactively addressing some of the concerns that put the party on the edge with a view to strengthening it ahead of the next elections.
We'll go through this report meticulously and very soon submit it to NEC, since it's a NEC committee. And we believe that NEC will implement, we have not only approved the report, but will also help us to implement some of the recommendations which you are contained in this report.
He takes the opportunity to lash on the government of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) over the deteriorating security situation in the country, describing it as the next level the party promised Nigerians. Shapiro Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, a federal high court in Abuja has deferred judgment in the defection suit against Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State. Justice Taiwo on Wednesday deferred the matter to enable lawmakers address the court on the legal issues raised by the Court of Appeal judgment on Ebonyi governor's defection. The Court of Appeal in Enugu had on April 1st held that the Constitution did not make provision for the removal of a governor, deputy or president and vice president who defects to another political party. The court had earlier ordered 20 lawmakers comprising of 18 members of the Cross River State House of Assembly and 2 members of the House of Representatives to vacate their seats following their defection from the PDP to the APC alongside the governor. And still talking politics, some People's Democratic Party (PDP) stakeholders, led by former Senate President Senator Bukola Saraki, have visited Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State. Saraki, while speaking with journalists, said that the visit was to brief Governor Makinde on the plan for a consensus candidate among the presidential aspirants. Saraki disclosed that since the focus of the party was centered on providing a credible and people-oriented government for Nigerians, all aspirants were ready to abide by the position of the party. For his part, Makinde promised to work for the success of the consensus arrangement, assuring that any confusion that arises would be addressed.
We ourselves as a party must be ready for government in 2023, and that part includes uniting ourselves and being focused that it is not about our individual interests, it's the interests of Nigeria that matters. We, of course, all have individual interests when to be president, but we decided in meetings that we're ready to subject ourselves to a consensus agreement. That consensus agreement is not just one for one part of the country, or that the North. No, it's a consensus agreement for the PDP as a party.
I promised my elder brothers, that we will work hand in hand, work together to ensure that this consensus arrangement is successful. So I've also said that internally we will ensure that people understand what we're trying to do, and where there's any item of doubt or confusion, we will put a mechanism in place where that will get addressed almost immediately as well.
And President Muhammadu Buhari has signed Executive Order 11 on National Public Buildings Maintenance Policy. The signing of the document was done before the start of Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting at the Council Chambers of the State House, Abuja. The President, while speaking shortly before appending his signature, directed all ministries, departments and agencies of government to set up maintenance departments in line with the provisions of the new Executive Order. He said the order now gives legal backing to the country's national maintenance policy, following its earlier approval by the Federal Executive Council.
The policy set out guidelines for the maintenance of federal government buildings and assets in accordance with professional standards in order to ensure the protection and lasting utilization of the investments that have been made by way of provision of public infrastructure. The memorandum recommended and government accepted that maintenance of public buildings and facility management was not a matter of culture or lack of it, but a conscious economic driver that was required to support the output from our technical and vocational educational institutions by putting their skills into gainful and rewarding engagements. The memorandum highlighted federal public institutions such as federal government colleges, federal correctional facilities, federal court buildings, and federal secretariats where maintenance and facility management were immediately required and recommended that these should be extended to all buildings owned and or occupied by ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up after the break, how rope making changes village life. This and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now look at our top stories. Terrorists on Tuesday attacked a mosque in Taraba State while worshippers were breaking their fast, killing 3 persons. And President Muhammadu Buhari has signed Executive Order 11 on National Public Building Maintenance Policy. And moving on to other news now, the federal government has uncovered 1,500 workers who joined the Federal Civil Service with fake appointment letters. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi-Eson, made the disclosure in Abuja on Tuesday. She stated that those identified will be removed from the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, IPPIS. Yemi-Eson spoke at the National Policy Dialogue on entrenching transparency in public office recruitment in Nigeria. She said over 1,000 persons were discovered in one ministry, while 500 others were found in other ministries, departments, and agencies. A supplier of psychoactive substances to traffickers in Taraba State, Lami Merigima, has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, months after being on their wanted list. A statement by the agency's Director, Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, said the 40-year-old queen of the drug world came under the anti-narcotic agency's searchlight when several traffickers arrested in the state in 2021 and early this year fingered her as their supplier. The manhunt for Lami paid off on Monday, 4th April, when operatives tracked her to her hideout in Iware village in Ardokola local government area of Taraba State.
This is what we have in each packet. Royal 225. So in each of the packets, these are what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 packets. Remove the brushes, and what you have under it is Ramadan 225. Remove all the brushes now. Once you remove all the brushes, what you have there is Ramadan 225 milligram, which is called Vectra. Bring more out.
And local rope from Raffia plant is a business of people, mostly rural dwellers in northern Nigeria. Locals, mostly from communities in Katsina, make ropes from these tropical plants called raffia to complement their means of livelihood, especially during the dry season. Trust Television visits Mashi Market in Katsina State to see how the business of rope making thrives and how it turns around the economic lives of those engaged in it. Abdullahi Amadi tells us more.
Mashi Market is located some 30 kilometers east of the ancient city of Katsina on Daura Road. These people buy ropes from the locals and transport them to the southern part of Nigeria, where they are used to tie cola nuts and sugarcane. We take these ropes to Fawe, Lagos, Shagamu, some parts of Bauchi, and of course some parts of Adamawa State for sale. They used to tie sugarcane and other, so they use it for so many purposes. Out of this rope business, we get what we eat, we put our body and souls together, and we make some benefits out of it. Besides buying food, we take care of our families, and so on and so forth. Local ropes are also to make fences, sheds in local markets, and other domestic purposes. The business also helps the locals economically as it complements their livelihood. I can tell you, we used to get what we want from this business. When we come to the market, we sell this raffia plant. Sometimes we bring the ropes, then we sell them. We get what we buy grains from the sales we made. Modernization has also crept into this local trade, as many have devised the use of rugs, barks of trees, and other fibers in rope making. However, in spite of all this, the rope making from raffia plant continues to thrive and give people the much needed comfort. Another thing that has a similar economic value made from raffia plant is a hand-woven mat and hat. These products are also diminishing as they are being replaced by rubber mats. Stakeholders in the business are calling for government intervention to revive the sector and save it from extinction. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The House of Representatives on Wednesday mandated its committees on telecommunications and banking and currency to look into the cases of telecommunications subscribers who have fallen victims of breach of privacy and identity theft. The committee, which is expected to report back within 4 weeks, is also to identify inadequacies in the relevant regulatory frameworks and proffer solutions. The House's resolution followed the adoption of a motion on the need to protect telephone subscribers from breach of privacy, fraud and loss of money by Representative Olushola Steve Fatoba from Ekiti APC.
Of the regulatory frameworks in existence, the occurrence of a breach of privacy cases of fraud and consequently financial loss are on the increase. Also concerns that many Nigerians are falling victim to illegal and unauthorized deduction of funds from their bank accounts because their financial institutions keep sending their bank account transaction details into their Itato phone numbers, which have been reassigned to new subscribers, thus opening a dangerous window for fraudulent activities.
Muslims in Oshogbo, Osun State capital, on Tuesday staged a peaceful protest against attempts by the Railway Property Management Company Limited to reallocating the railway setback that Muslims have been using as Eid prayer ground for more than 20 years to Pastor Bukola Solomon. Speaking on behalf of the Osun Coalition of Muslims for Justice at the Eid prayer ground located at Oke-Onita area, Oshogbo, Barrister Kazim Oyedeji said Muslims would continue to use the land as Eid prayer ground. Hamid Oyebode filed in this report.
It's the rumble before the storm. The Muslim community in Oshogbo has been using this land as Eid praying ground since 2015. There has been no breach of contract on the part of the community, which is why it finds it strange that this land is being reallocated.
The Nigeria Railway Corporation granted the Muslim community of Bushra Mosque, number 9, Oriade Anifose Street, Oke-Onita area, Oshogbo, a piece of land for their use as Muslim Eid prayer ground, with only a condition that no permanent structure is built on it. Since then, the Muslim community has continued the use of the land for the purpose for which it was granted and abiding with the conditions with the condition attached there.
This rather awkward situation could lead to tensions between the Muslim and Christian communities.
We agree with us that this is high level of insensitivity and an action capable of causing religious unrest. We want to, on behalf of the entire Muslim Ummah in Osun State, warn that Muslims will not fold their arms when a piece of land meant for the use of Eid prayer ground is being converted for other use. We therefore want to call on all stakeholders and lovers of peace to call Mr. Innocent Agbaji and his friend Pastor Bukola Suleiman to order.
Luckily, this situation may not deteriorate beyond this gathering storm. Probably realizing how delicate the situation was, the official of the Nigerian Railway Corporation in question explained that he had reversed the reallocation.
And now a look at the foreign scene, where Burkina Faso's former president, Blaise Compaoré, has received a life sentence in absentia for his role in the assassination of his revolutionary predecessor, Thomas Sankara. Sankara remains a hero for many across Africa because of his anti-imperialistic stance and austere lifestyle. 13 others were also found guilty, including Compaoré's security chief, Hyacinth Kafando, who was accused of leading the hit squad that killed Sankara. And now a quick look at sports, where the Executive Committee of the Nigeria Football Federation has mandated one of the Federation's subcommittees to, within the next 5 days, recommend a new coaching crew for the Super Eagles. The mandate is one of the first decisions of the committee took in its first formal meeting since Nigeria's failure to qualify for the 2022 FIFA World Cup billed for Qatar later this year. The meeting, held on Tuesday in Abuja and attended both physically and virtually by 14 members, asked the Technical and Development Subcommittee to make the recommendations. Aside from the expected recommendations on the Super Eagles coaching crew, the subcommittee is also to recommend a new coaching crew for the 3 other national teams within the same period of 5 days. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.